Hey, folks, this is Invest Now America. I'm your host. And as I explain every time I do something like this, the objective of the show is to introduce local entrepreneurs to the people of Louisville and folks around the country. And we definitely have an entrepreneur that really fascinates me. He's the founder of Prominent Youth of America. He's the executive director of Prominent Youth of America, organization established in 2019. Very prominent, successful organization. So I wanted to bring on the founder and just have him talk about Prominent Youth of America and what he's trying to accomplish, what he has accomplished, and some of his future plans. Brother Lavon, appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Corbin. I appreciate you having me on the show today, man.
All right. Well, let's keep it basic. What
Okay.
is Prominent Youth of America? What's sort of like your mission statement?
Well, Prominent Youth of America primarily focuses on youth development. Through youth development, we acclimate youth and pretty much pull out all their creative potentials and then offer them several different platforms to actually get their material off or to establish their content so where people can actually pour into them and see what they have going on.
Uh-huh. Now, you had mentioned content, except things like that. Are you you know is this something? Is that relating to artistic creativity?
Yeah. So we have a program called the Arts of Music Education and Entertainment, which is one of our arts programs. Within inside of that arts program, the young people learn about audio production, video production, graphic design. We teach them about copyrights, how to register with performance rights organizations such as ASCAP. We teach them about Nielsen BDS, which is the sound scan. We help them actually create their content, whether it be through the songwriting phase. We have them create storyboards and treatments to actually create videos to pretty much stage it before we actually film it to speed up the process as well as save money. The whole major part of this is, like I said, to acclimate youth into entrepreneurship as well as post-secondary education through involving them with programming and software that's compatible to the same software they're using in broadcasting. Like if the kids wanted to go through post-secondary school and have job opportunities at the radio station or the news media station, some of the software that they use in the program is the same software that is used in broadcasting and media. When it comes to the youth songwriting, copyrights, all of that, what we do is we put uh, create an all-inclusive situation for them so where they can one create their projects, monetize their projects, promote their projects, and put them out. um that's pretty much what we do. Just like I said, we pretty much promote entrepreneurship, then we acclimate them, teach them about all the different transferable skill sets outside of entertainment. Instead of saying transferable skill sets, these would be considered trades per se.
Uh, that's quite a bit. And what I really like about it is that I'm a big music fan, so I'll see someone like a Whitney Houston on stage or someone like the Rolling Stones, and I'm saying, boy, I love to be able to do that. But that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
What you just presented was like is the iceberg, 90% of the iceberg that's beneath the water that people don't see on a daily basis, may have no awareness of it whatsoever on a daily basis. But if that 98% that you're teaching didn't exist, we wouldn't have the Michael Jacksons, the Whitney Houstons, or whatever the world. I mean, it just wouldn't be possible. Am I exaggerating there or what?
No, it wouldn't be possible. So that's why you have a whole lot of situations where people know about music through tragedies, where they know about New Edition because they got robbed for their creative content. You learn about TLC, who got robbed for their creative content because they signed in contracts without understanding. Before you go into these contracts, there's certain things that you could do first. Like you could own all your copyrights first. You could be signed to a performance rights organization first. When you go into these deals, you learn. We teach them about terms like new work for hire. So in a business proposition, they may say, okay, they'll offer at a tangent like, okay, we'll give you 20,000 as a work for hire, and that's all we're gonna give you with no royalties, no points on the back end. Or we'll give you $2,000 and 100% of your royalties and all of these things on the back end. So up front, to somebody who's coming from impoverished conditions, you'll say you'll take the lump sum, the biggest money margin. You'll take that, but you won't understand that on the back end, it's percentages based off of sales, based off of promotion and marketing that these companies are going to do to generate attention for whatever project it is that they're doing. So you can't go into those situations half-heartedly or uneducated and win or benefit from being in that light. So it's like my main thing is to teach them different kind of pitfalls, make sure that they own 100% of their material before they even leave our program. That way, when they enter into any kind of contractual obligations outside of our program, they're already aware that one, they're not going to sign no work for hires, meaning that somebody's going to just pay them for a body of work, which would put them in the same contention as people who work the French fries at McDonald's. McDonald's make millions of dollars, but they're paying the fry person $10 an hour. You can be on the fries for 5 or 6 hours, and during that time, y'all made thousands of dollars, but you're not getting nothing but what you agreed to, which is $10 an hour. When your shift's over, you're gonna get $50. It's that simple. So I speak to the kids in this type of manner so they understand the importance of not being a work for hire and pretty much how to understand to go into situations to get all of they everything that they deserve out of the deal. You can make some type of like compromises or whatever, but initially you need to get credit for every single thing that you do, and you need to have ownership and always retain the ownership of everything that you do. So we promote that and preach that heavily.
You use the word ownership,
Mm-hmm.
and you put up the example of McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that in that McDonald's situation, the owner makes more money than the employee, right?
Right.
You
Yep.
always come out ahead, generally come out better ahead if you own than if you're just working for the person. It's like,
Right.
and so here it is. You rarely, what you're talking about, you rarely hear that about music. You rarely hear that about music. And I bet you dollars to donuts, you and I could probably go down to West Louisville right now and find 100 young black men who say, "Hey, man, I want to be in the rap game." They want to be in the rap. They're willing to do whatever it takes to be in the rap game. But I bet you dollars to donuts too. If I was to say, "Well, here, talk to my man Lavon Clack here," I bet you within the first 3 minutes they'd be like, "What? I never,
Yeah.
what royalties on what?
Yep.
Never heard of it."
Yeah, so we create like a cheat code. And then to elaborate a little bit more on the power of owning the copyrights is this. Whenever somebody wants to use your music, so let's say that you're an upcoming artist and all your music is copyrighted. When you enter into this situation, these people are forced to buy or they're forced to lease the license from you because the copyright gives the ownership to the songwriter, whoever the creator is, and they are responsible for coming to you asking you, can they license your stuff? Not take your stuff and put it out here. None of they have to have a licensing conversation with you, which we should have a template of how much you're going to license it for, and then whatever the ball turns into your court as far as like the control of certain different elements of royalties and points and stuff like it. As far as like what you're going to do, you have more leeway to talk about your stance as an artist at that moment if you own all your masters and your copyrights and all of that. Like I said, that situation turns into a licensee situation for a licensor.
Mm. Now I'm again, I love my music, but I don't think I ever really fully explained that whole Prince situation. Could you, in simple terms, sort of explain that to me? Because at one point, he stopped calling himself Prince, put some weird symbol on, put on his cheek, "I'm a slave," and I was like, "What do you mean he's a slave? You one of the most popular artists of all time in the world. What do you mean slave? What was going on there?"
So here recently, like we'll see different clips from different artists or whatever that really wanted to work with Prince. Like I just seen a video with a dude named Nas, a rapper named Nas. So Nas was talking about a time he actually met up with Prince. And he was like, "Yo, let's do a record together." And Prince was like, "Do you own your masters?" And he was like, "Nah, I don't own my masters." He was like, "Well, come back when you own your masters, then we can do music together." So the conversation that Prince just had with him is this right here. Prince, at the same time that he's done graduated to a thought process where he becomes the sign or a symbol or whatever, at that moment, he's saying that he owns all his stuff. Like Prince owns all his stuff. So it's a lot of different things you have to go through. One, you have to fulfill the contract agreement. So let's say they say you got 20 albums to do. You got to finish all those 20 albums. When that's over with, it's based off of how much money was spent on you as the artist and how much they done recouped minus whatever the balance is left. So you got to cash out that whole balance. So let's say like at the end of your 20 album deal over 5 years or whatever, let's say you earned hundreds of millions of dollars, but you owe 2 million. In order for them to release you and say, okay, you can own all your stuff outright, you got to pay them the $2 million. So once you pay them the $2 million, now you own all your masters, and here going forth for every single dollar that comes in for the music that you've made. Now it don't go through the record label no more. It goes directly to you. So the point that he was trying to prove is that as artists, you should be at a pinnacle where you own all your masters. And to be honest, you should never be into going into a record deal situation with a major power like Universal or Def Jam or any of these things, just because of the way that they're contractually set up. These type of arrangements have not been reconstructed or changed over a long period of time. What they did was they create new deals or whatever, but them same deals fall up under the same ambiance as the old record labels, pretty much pimping the artists out of their rights to own their music, pimping them out of their money, like pretty much taking everything away from them. So the importance of Prince was that he had at that point retained ownership of all his music going forward, and he refused to work with artists who are on major labels because that messes up the integrity of the project. As to say, if I come over here and do a project with you, the integrity's messed up. Now I'm gonna get all my money, but you're not gonna get all your money. You're not gonna reach all the successful benefits that you could as the same as me. And I don't want to put myself back into a situation where I'm giving the record label power over me just to do you a favor and hop on a song with you. You know what I'm saying? And then everything that's going on with this song held up in deliberations of the old regime of how music works. I don't want to be involved in that. So the likelihood of a record label paying for a feature with Prince would probably be slim to none, because he's gonna want all of his money. Ain't gonna be no, we're gonna give you a small percentage on the back end, or we're gonna give you some upfront money. That he's gonna want his whole. He controls the whole terms of the treaty. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's gonna be based off of if y'all satisfying what he wants to make the agreement. Where the flip side is we sit over here and like pretty much shrink ourselves in order to go into these situations because of what goes with that, the limelight, the fame, the distribution, the promotion, all of them things. Like you go from being that's what they say, overnight success and overnight celebrities. Like when you go into these machines, the machine is already doing what it's doing. They done did data for years about how to market artists and things like that. So as an independent, you got to go through the chitlin circuit. You got to go through every single radio station. You got to have a budget and the money to market and promote all your stuff. So a lot of people don't do what Prince do. They go straight over here to the label. And then here recently, I've seen way more artists getting ownership of our masters, like Chris Brown. Chris Brown owns all his masters. So every single dime that he makes from making music is his, whether it be from touring. Touring is always his. All the record sales is his. And then we switched over to streaming. So there's a lot of stuff that goes through with streaming on digital platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Tidal, any of those platforms. Now he gets all the money off top. Ain't nobody in the way. Ain't nobody doing nothing. It's 100% his money. But that don't exist for at least 95% of the industry. So this is they are what you call anomalies in music. The ones who actually retain ownership of their master, they would be considered anomalies.
Brother, I just got a couple more questions, but before I ask you those questions, I want to say to folks, this is Invest Now America, the podcast Invest Now America. Go to my Facebook page, Invest Now America, and also have a website called investnowamerica.org. Today we're speaking with Mr. Lavon Clack. He's the founder, CEO, Executive Director of Prominent Youth of America. And what this brother is teaching our young people here in Louisville, Kentucky, it's really downright revolutionary. I hope you listen very carefully to the last couple of minutes he just said. It's revolutionary. It's revolutionary. He literally could be saving somebody millions of dollars, literally, and just by educating them, just by giving them the education, the information he's giving them. And so when he goes out for this funding, I hope the funders really seriously understand what it means to give someone like him support, because it's absolutely necessary. We could probably have Lavon in here talk for the next couple of hours. We could talk about artists of the past, great black artists of the past. I mean, geniuses on artistic level. And Lavon, not to put them down, but they probably wouldn't. They probably weren't exposed to 99% of what you just say, which is basically the music end of the business side of music. It
Yep.
just so many of our artists, black artists, and I'm sure some white artists too, just been brutally exploited because they
Yep.
didn't have that knowledge and education that you are giving our young people right now here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Right. That's exactly what's going on. And then too, like the learning curves of life. So once they go into these realms or these fields, that learning curve is going to teach you automatically because you're going to have hopes, aspirations, and dreams that you're not going to see get fulfilled, and you're going to wonder what happened. And that's why you have like one hit wonders too. Like a lot of different things going on inside of the music world when you're not educated before you enter them, and then the people's longevity really depends on education because like we could have messed up at first, but we can fix it. You know what I'm saying? With the right team around us and the right people around, we can fix it. But it's those who go through the process and nobody never comes and tells them the truth about what's going on with their
Mm,
project.
right, brother. I appreciate you taking this time out and sharing sharing what you're all about. And I hope people listen to this, subscribe to my channel, and share this with as many people as possible because what you're doing is vitally important. It's extremely important. I mean, right now, if I was to pick up a phone and, you know, bring on a Chris Brown be like, yeah, I mean, what he's saying is true. You better listen to him, right? Oh, man,
Right.
it's amazing. Brother, I appreciate you. Hey, how can people get a hold of your website? Do you have a website, Facebook page, whatever?
Yeah. You can go to Facebook, Prominent Youth of America, or you can go to our website, www.pyoa.org, or you can call me at 502-802-9224. Any kind of way that you need to get in touch with me to help any kind of young person that you see ambition or drive in that seems like they have any kind of musical influence or trying to be influential or any kind of prowess in the music and entertainment period, just send them our way because we'd love to help them. Like I said, we do a lot of stuff, whether it be music, video production, graphics. The whole thing is to give
Amazing.
the young people artistic empowerment.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Brother, thank you. I hope we'll be able to do something like this again real soon.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you for having me on the show today. I truly appreciate it.